Hello, Nomads, and welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy, a weekly movie and video game podcast where we make a new universe our home every week. By joining us today, you are part of the tribe. Make sure to check out the calendar on social and follow along. Joining us this week, we have Eric.
This guy practically lives in a clue board.
Yes, he does. Good reference. And we also have Brandon.
A strange case from the start. A case with a hole in the middle. A donut.
Oh, we'll stop there. Okay. Oh, you're going to go through the whole donut. Give us a whole
Is that your best
Nice.
Benoit Blanc accent that you can muster?
That accent's
Yeah,
weird. It is like a foghorn. Like
It is. Very southern
Captain
drawl.
AFC.
That
Yeah.
there is more evidence to be discovered.
That was pretty good.
If you haven't figured it out yet, we are talking about Knives Out, a movie that came out
2019.
2019.
Yeah. By Rian Johnson.
Directed and written by Rian Johnson.
Oh, he wrote it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. I just figured there was like a
Which
clever script that he saw and
makes
he
it-
wanted to direct it.
Yeah, makes it even cooler, I think. It's one of those things where, the writer's also the director. So
I
they get
should
their
have known
vision.
that. Yeah.
I also just learned yesterday
More handle for you.
that he directed Looper as well, which is, I love that movie.
Oh, I
yeah,
gotta
he did
say,
that.
that is
yeah.
on
That's
my,
the first time I heard discovered.
I didn't realize that.
it's on my
'cause,
shame pile.
we should do that as an episode because I actually really like that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice. All right. Well, before we get too far, this week we got Knives Out. I want to mention the schedule real quick. If you would like to follow along and play with us at home, next week we're going to be watching The Northman. Week 3 of November, we're going to be watching Willow, the classic from 1980s, with
Oh,
a new
boy.
series coming out.
I
we're gonna
can't wait.
That'll be
Get
an
ourselves
interesting one.
refreshed on that one. And then end of the month, we're doing a new little spotlight called Ask a Nomad, where we're taking questions, comments, everything from Twitter, Discord, everywhere we can find, giving out advice,
Any
making
question
lists,
under the
getting
sun.
into arguments. Yeah, we will talk about whatever you guys sent in.
Yeah, give us some tier
Whether
lists or rankings too. Those could be
Yeah.
fun.
We'll rank pizzas. We will rank children's toys. We will rank whatever you want. So make sure you get those questions into us. Eric, how can they get in touch with us and send us in any of those questions, comments, tier lists, any of that?
Well, Dave, I'm glad you asked. You can reach us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter. You can join our Discord at the nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. You can email us, nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com. I also put up a Google form. You can find that in our Discord as well and on our Twitter page. We've got some submissions there. We've got some submissions just in the Discord channel and on Twitter. So keep them coming. We want as many as possible because I want to make it a variety of questions because I think that'll be a really fun episode.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into some weird shit coming in. So that'll be a fun one. So before we get into Knives Out, I guess it's got some fairly good reviews. It's got almost an 8 on IMDb, like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. I want you guys, because you guys have both seen this, correct?
Yep. Pretty recently,
Okay.
actually.
Give me just to tease it as we go into the next act. Let me hear, Eric. Give me a Twitter post. Summarize your thoughts on the movie in less than 144 characters or whatever the Twitter count is now.
Let's see. Knives Out is a fun, dark mystery that keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time and makes you want to watch to the very end. I don't know. I was trying to make something profound.
I felt that way too, I guess. You mentioned that, but I couldn't turn it off. Like I was going to do half and half, but I couldn't.
That's
stop.
that's
It
the
was
main
way
point
too
I
late.
wanted to emphasize is that even though it was like 12 o'clock midnight, I was like, I can't stop watching this movie. I gotta finish it.
So it's a locomotive going down butter tracks. Brandon, give me your breakdown here. Synopsis, if you will.
I'm a little colder on this movie.
Whoa!
Not to
Really?
say it's a bad movie. I like this movie.
Ooh, I can't wait to get into it.
It's good. It's fine. I'm just impressed that people
Fine.
like it.
That's
so
your
much.
Twitter post. It's good. It's fine. Knives out. It's good. It's fine.
I would say no. I would be like, this is a solid whodunit movie that has a great ensemble cast with some really strong performances from its leading characters. But you'll probably walk away from this movie
Oh, character limit.
frustrated with how the mystery was revealed.
Oh, so
Ooh.
it's just kind of like The Last Jedi. So it's all Rain Johnson's movies. Rain Johnson.
Rain Johnson. Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be a more interesting conversation than I thought it would be.
All
All right, I'm excited.
Nice. All right, well, let's take a break here as Brandon comes in with his bucket of mediocrity and dumps it all over us. Let's take a little break here and let's come right back into some Knives Out.
I did not say such a thing.
I'll
That is
say-
a false
I'll say-
accusation.
I do declare.
And we are back, Nomads, to discuss the 2019 Rian Johnson movie, Knives Out. Written and directed by Rian Johnson, produced by Johnson. Following it's a murder mystery movie following Benoit Blanc investigating a death of the patriarch of a wealthy family. If you haven't seen this movie, we are going to spoil the shit out of it. We can't really go scene by scene through it because there's a lot of jumping around that happens in the movie. A lot of little, clues that that happen, and then they jump back in time, and it's all over the place. So once you see it, you kind of understand it. But if you haven't seen it, this will make little to no sense, and we will spoil the shit out of you. And the best part of this movie is the mystery and the whodunit of everything. So, I don't know. I think it's one of the better murder mystery movies I've seen. I guess murder mystery movies kind of are few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's really a lot in this specific genre of movie.
Clue is the easy comparison here since we already did it for an earlier episode. But it's very,
really
very similar.
We've never talked about Clue.
I'd argue
Yeah,
that
dude. We did a whole
Did we?
episode
Okay.
on Clue, dude.
Oh, we did. Okay.
You already
So
forgot
good.
about
I can
that.
watch it again.
I would argue that is this a murder mystery? I mean, it is, but like it
Well,
shows
There's a
us
murdery and there's a
who
mystery.
did the murder.
That's the beauty of this movie. It changes your expectations like 3 different times. I don't want to get into it too much, but just the opening scene, I think, is great. Sets the stage. Fran, the housekeeper, goes up. Boom. Thrombey's dead. Throat slit. Blood pouring out. And then you get the title card. And I just love that intro.
Yeah, and the setting of the whole movie is like the eccentric billionaire's house. It's like even in like Clue, it's got like secret passages and it's got all sorts of weird shit around the house. And just the setting of the movie is a very key part of the mystery as well, as to like who's going where and how they're getting there and clues that are left behind. But I guess let's get into some thoughts on this. Eric, you liked it. Brandon, you hated it. Why is there such a difference? Why is there such a difference here? I know. I'm jamming words in there, but
Well, I have a question, Brandon.
Yeah.
You've seen it before, so did you like it more, less, the same on your second viewing?
I think less.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I'll
Just
just
because
say
you
it.
already knew.
So I watched
Like-
this movie with my wife, like when it came out, and we're like, yeah, it was good. I can see why people liked it. It was fun, kind of like it's this, it's this, it's this, and they're like, fine, whatever. And then when I told her I was gonna watch it again, I'm like, do you want to watch it with me? She's like, nah, really. I'm like, yeah, you know what, like I like rewatching movies, just because I'm watching it with a very different eye, like especially for this show. So when I was watching it, I just knew, I just saw it so recently. I mean, it just came out in 2019. So to me, it's like there's nothing that's gonna I'm not gonna forget anything, and there's
It's
nothing
too fresh.
I just know who did it. So I'm just like, other than that, I'm really just appreciating the camera work, and the performances of the cast. And to me, the highlight of this movie is actually the cast. And it's not really because once you know who did it and kind of figured it out, it's just about everybody's acting and stuff like that. To me,
I disagree.
Okay, well then let's hear.
Well, I agree with your point about the cast. Like, the cast is fantastic.
We'll
beautiful
run down
ensemble
the
cast.
list really quick. You got Daniel Craig, you got Chris Evans, Ana de Armas as the
Marta,
nurse,
I believe. Yeah.
You got Jamie Lee Curtis as one of the kids. You got Michael Shannon as one of the kids. Don Johnson, Toni Collette as one of the other kids. Let's see, as Joni. Catherine Langford as her kid. I don't know. It keeps going.
Christopher Plummer.
On.
Christopher Plummer, man.
That's a big name.
R.I.P. He just died this year, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he really? No. That's right. It's one of the only on-screen scenes where you see Frank Oz on screen too. Like, he's always either behind the scenes or doing something else. But
dude, the one guy that works security, the Walsh character, Emmett Walsh, that actor is old, and in the movie he's old, right? And I'm like, where have I seen him before? And I'm like, I know where I've seen that guy. He is the detective or like the chief in Blade Runner with Harrison Ford, the first one.
Oh,
when he's assigning him the case, he's the guy. He's like, Decker, it had to be you.
You want to know what I know him from? Christmas with the Cranks. You guys have seen that one?
I think so.
The Tim Allen one, but I recognize him from that.
I've seen him in things, but he's old as heck in this movie.
It's so weird because I have seen this movie relatively recently as well. I think like last year, maybe 2 years ago. And yeah, my second viewing was completely different because I did forget a lot of the things. Like, I knew the big beat that, like, Marta was the one that quote unquote killed him, which we find out that really she didn't. But yeah, there was a lot of little details that I forgot about. And I think that I found joy in my second viewing of kind of rediscovering the mystery and, rediscovering what I liked about it on the first time that I watched it. But it's, I think the way that it's structured is really, really cool. And I think that's obviously the star of the show. Cause like you said, they make you think that it's one thing and then they change it around like a couple different times. Which I really appreciated about it, but I like it a lot.
Yeah, it is good, even if you kind of do know the story. I'd forgotten. I kind of knew what happened and how it happened, but like the little story beats, the little intricacies of the plot that get tied in, whether it's flashbacks of what's his name, Ransom as the tricks that he pulled and how you kind of just know him as a dick, but at the end you kind of get like all the threads of the whole story kind of come together as Benoit Blanc kind of puts all the facts together.
I also love that they dig into each one of the family members a little bit, and they give each of them a reason why, like a motive, not enough maybe to kill Harlan, but like each of them has something that they weren't happy with Harlan about. And they make that a point. Like with Richard, Harlan knows that he's cheating on his wife. Joni was, he found out that she was double dipping with the tuition. You know, she was stealing money from him. Walt, his son, he takes away the publishing company from him. So like each of his kids have some sort of reason why they could possibly have a motive for doing it. And that's kind of the first, I would say there's 3 acts to this movie. That's kind of the first act, is figuring out like who actually committed the murder.
Setting the stage for all the chess pieces on the board.
Exactly.
And how they kind of interact with each other. Because, I mean, they're all kind of unlikable in their own ways, too. They're all kind of like spoiled shits.
They're all two-faced. They're all, yeah, exactly. They're all spoiled. They all think that they deserve something when, you know, they really don't. So there's a reason for you to not like each one of these characters.
Which, yeah, I mean, it is super cool. There's a lot of intricate details in here. Like the house kind of, apparently during shooting is shot via like 3 different locations, and they kind of tie all those into the house together. I couldn't tell the difference until I was looking up like facts of the movie and stuff like that. But like little things like I guess like one of the paintings on the walls like changes like after the movie is solved. It's a picture of Harlan, and he's got like this hard ass look on his face, but after the murder is solved, like they show the painting again, and he's got like a smirk on his face in the painting.
Oh,
like
that's
just
funny.
like
I didn't notice
little weird intricacies. Seems like they paid a lot of good attention to detail and a lot of this stuff, which I think in this kind of movie that's so specific about who was where and who was doing what, like you have to have very specific attention to detail of, you know, what time, like actors had to change the times on their phone if they're like shown in a shot or whatever, or they're just talking randomly, like, you know, a lot of that little stuff.
Wow.
Which is,
you know how there's like
super
somebody
cool to
on
see.
set that their job is to make sure like the forks are pointing the same direction, like the water in the cup is the same level, you know, like could you imagine this person's job if that's what's going on?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about that, like, oh man, you gotta be careful with
the Game of Thrones person that left a Starbucks cup in the shot,
Right.
like you're fucking fired.
that's just straight up bad.
That's just a
Well, yeah.
mistake. Yeah.
You could tell they were like editing that show right up until the last minute, because they did it twice. They had a water bottle in the last episode of Game of Thrones.
They really? That was lazy fuck.
Yeah, when like they made what's his
Or you
face,
see, like-
King of the King.
Like Braveheart has somebody's digital watch in it when they go to raise up their.
Yeah, there's also a truck in the
there?
back. There's like a truck in the back of like before a battle.
They even did that in House of the Dragon with Viserys' finger. Like they had the little green, little rubber glove thing on his finger because he's missing a finger, but they just forgot to edit that out. There's always mistakes here, but yeah. But yeah, back to this movie. I think it's cool. Yeah, like that through the flashbacks, we get to see everybody's different perspective of what happened the night that Harlan got murdered, and like there are little inconsistencies between each character as well. Like someone
because everyone's lying.
right.
Everybody's lying because they don't want their own truth being exposed.
Exactly. Like even though they didn't do it, they still are lying about, because they don't want it to seem like that they did have motive to kill Harlan. Because like I said, each one of them had their own little secret, their own little lie that they were keeping.
And it all kind of ties in. I guess the Marta is kind of like the main figure that we're following throughout the movie, because we find out during it that, you know, she's kind of was the main cause of the death, essentially, or we think that she is the main cause of the death until we get further into the, you know, the wrap up of the movie. And it's hard to know throughout the movie who's telling the truth, whose motives are actually true, who's just in it for themselves. But essentially, everybody's kind of in it for themselves. They're all pretty self-centered and self-absorbed, worried about them.
Yeah, because we have, like I said, we have Act 1, which is figuring out who actually murdered him. Act 2, within 40 minutes, we find out like exactly what happened that night, where Marta switches the medications, or so she thinks, and then they have this whole scheme of, you know, Harlan planning on how to get her out of it because her mother is there illegally. So if, you know, she's pinned for the murder, they'll deport her and her whole family will be ruined. So they come up with this whole plan, and then Harlan, you know, slits his own throat, and that's actually how he dies. But And then after that, after we get that kind of the first big reveal, it's the second act is spent with Marta trying to cover up her own tracks of that night, which is cool because we get to, play through that night again from her perspective, with the plan in motion, with her climbing up the window and all the actions that she had to take, putting on the robe and walking down the stairs, pretending she was Harlan so that she has an alibi. So all that, I like that we saw it from everybody else's perspective, and then we see it from Marta's perspective of kind of what actually happened that night.
And then she gets a little bit involved with Ransom, and that's kind of where you don't know who's pulling the strings and who is behind it, because you're getting, Ransom is sending ransom notes, which is kind of funny, but Chris Evans plays a good, like, spoiled, shitty nephew, grandkid.
Just plays a good asshole in general.
It's weird. Like, his makeup was a little bit weird. I don't know what it was, but his face seemed very pale, and he had like very pink lips that like stood out. I don't know. It was kind of weird. It was a weird. He looked like a vampire almost. Like, he was very pale and white, and then I don't know.
Dave's looking at his luscious
contrast
lips.
Is too strong on your key.
In your guys' opinion, like, who do you guys think? I guess just generally, who's the shittiest person in the Thrombey family?
In the bunch?
If you could pick your least,
obviously it's
Ransom. He's your least favorite. I don't know. Right. Well, like, I mean, you got the one that's the stealing money. You got the one that's the one guy's just trying to get publishing rights and make his own mark based on his father's work. You got Joni, who is like a real estate person, which I don't even know why she wants any of her dad's money if she's got her own successful real estate business. Like, why does she even give a shit? Mm-hmm. Really? So
sure. Well, I would say Don Johnson's character, Richard Drysdale, is probably the worst because he's cheating on his wife.
Right.
And
he's an asshole
it's
too.
Made very clear that she's a very cold person. She's like kind of gone about this life where she's like, you're signing a prenup. This is not your money. She's made it very clear. And I don't know what's going on with their marriage, but he cheated on her. But he also talks like, you can tell that he's just been living with the rich people, and he's just full of opinions. And the way he treats Marta is just very inconsiderate.
Very.
Putting her on the spot, and he doesn't see the issue with it. So I think he's just a scumbag all around, plus he cheats on his wife.
Well, you kind of... You tell they're all assholes because they all say that Marta is from, like, at 3 different points in the movie, they say she's from a different country. Like, nobody even really like pays attention.
Right, and they keep saying you're like family to us. You're like family to us. You're like, exactly. I would have had you here. Oh, I would have had you at the funeral. I would have had you there. You're like family.
Like how like multiple people say I was outvoted, like, to have her at the funeral.
Yep,
but obviously, like, they all probably voted her out. They're just trying to play
it. Say that's what makes, I mean, that just shows their true character towards the, like, throughout the entire movie. Like you said, Brandon, everybody's saying, like, she's like family, everybody loves her. And then at the drop of a hat, they all turn on her like a fucking pack of wild animals as soon as the will is revealed.
So I would say, and I know this movie's popular, a lot of people like it, that's why it's getting a sequel. What's it called? Glass Onion?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Green Onion?
Mm-hmm. Glass Onion. Which looks really good, but we can get into that later. It looks really good,
but like, to me, I feel like this movie could have been a 2-parter. I think that we didn't spend enough time learning some of the characters in this movie, and I just didn't care about them. I just knew that I didn't like them, and I know that that's the whole point. You're not supposed to like them so you can understand Harlan's decision, and all that stuff, and that, which gets unraveled throughout the movie, which I get, and it's done very well. I just think that there was opportunity for me to care about some of the internal struggle. Like, Jamie Lee Curtis's character is a bitch, and she's mean to Marta instantly, right? And I think, but she also loved her dad, and she was trying to figure out, like, the mystery. Like, there was a relationship that he had with his daughter that I don't think was explored enough, and so when she does find out about how her husband Richard's been cheating on her, through her father's words, through the the cool little mystery that she uses with the lighter and stuff like that. But I still didn't care about. I didn't feel too bad about her though, because like she's not a likable character, and I feel they could have made this movie longer and made it into 2 parts and have a really cool cliffhanger at the end of this first movie, and you spend more time with some of these characters. Make me really care about Meg. Like Meg is there, and Meg had a lot of opportunity to be somebody that she trusts, but also is like, yo, my mom is broke and I need money for college. So, and then she just hangs up before she hears like Marta like reply. Like, so she's selfish too.
She was under pressure by the family to make that call, though. They're just trying to see if she's going to give the money back.
They used her because she knew that Marta trusted her. Yeah.
But I also think that the story just used her. Like there was not much of her in the story other than like a couple lines that she says where she's genuinely concerned about Marta.
She's the one that she's got the weed hidden in the spot, and that's kind of they use that setup for later in the movie. But
I didn't look, but there could be a director's cut or one coming where he has it longer, because I don't see why this can't be longer. I mean, you could tell he.
I definitely wouldn't do 2 parts, because you don't need to you don't want to know more about these people. They're horrible, not horrible people, but they're not good people. Like that's the more you know about them, you're just gonna reiterate that they're just not good people, really, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think they spent enough time with each character to kind of flesh out their motivations, and again, like you said, they use them as a device for the will reveal, and everybody turning on Marta. But I think, Marta, I think the interactions between Marta and Benoit Blanc were kind of the highlights of this movie and kind of the focus, especially with Blanc. Like every scene with him, Daniel Craig did. The accent is something.
Yeah, he's good.
But he ate up the fucking
What do you think of his intro? Like when he's just sitting in the not in the dark, but just behind, not in the focus.
I love the piano key. Just dink.
What was that for?
Every now and then.
Is that just like the next?
Like it's not relevant. He doesn't need to hear that stuff. They're just talking about themselves at that point, and he's like
to distract them, and probably also to get them to ask eventually they're like, who the fuck is that guy? So he gets to make his new intro. Yeah.
Theory, whatever major. She could have stuck around for the cake. I think Linda was upset. But Harlan understood.
Right. You two showed up to the party around the same time.
If I could pause, because who is that guy? And why are we doing all this again?
This is just some follow-up questions. We're attempting to be thorough so we can figure out the manner of death.
So by manner of death, you mean if someone...
Yeah, I don't know. The Benoit Blanc, kind of the whole thing. And he's, obviously playing a large part in the new movie. Looks like, I think he might be the only carryover character in it.
Yeah, I think that's the point. He's investigating a new case. Yeah.
Which potential to make like a Sherlock Holmes or something like that. Who doesn't like a very charming, witty, clever, classy guy solving crimes? Because this is like a glorified Murder, She Wrote episode.
It's a gentleman detective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know. I think
something is afoot.
Like that southern accent that he's got on him too. When I first saw this movie, that kind of threw me off because I'd never heard that voice come out of Daniel Craig. But after on this,
he's on this British
version
guy.
of the movie,
you don't expect him to have a foghorn leghorn
known
accent.
as James Bond to pretty much everybody. Like that's what he's known for. He's James Bond, very British character, and then he comes out talking like that.
At first, when I first saw this movie the first time, I was like, it was completely silly. But as the movie goes on, you get used to it, and it starts to become a little bit endearing, And I'm like, okay, I can see it. And the second time, I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about this. I forgot about this accent.
So the other character that I think kind of fit fantastically in this movie was Marta, played by Ana de Armas.
Because she's stunning to look at.
Well,
so adorable.
Yes, but she's also got this innocent look to her where and that she can't lie because she has the puke reflex where, if she does lie, she blows chunks. So, just her like she is the only like genuine and actual nice person. She's like the guiding moral compass of this movie, essentially, where she's not asking for money. She's not asking for anything really. She just wants to take care of this old guy and take care of her mom. And she's got like nothing but the best intentions. And she's thrown in with this like wicked, like horrible, self-centered family.
I know, which is what I liked about Richard. Like, not liked about him, but like when you talked about like who I didn't really care for, because he would say things like at the party where he was saying, you know, illegal because her mom and her sister are not,
yeah,
they're illegal citizens, and she doesn't want that to be discovered. And so the Richard character's talking about that. It's like, I don't have problems with people coming into this country, but you have to do it the right way, the legal way, and stuff like that. Like, you have to do like this and stuff like that. And you know that he's a mooch, Joni's a mooch. There's a mooches in this family, right? Like, everybody's mooching off of Harlan, you know? And it's just like, you guys have no right, honestly. Meanwhile, this woman right here is just a genuinely nice person. She's a nurse, and she's trying to take care of Harlan. And she has the best. I mean, she's apparently like a legal citizen, but still, she's looking out for her mom and her sister. And I think that's what's funny about like the comments that are coming out of the family, the children. It's just so rude and insensitive. And then this, like you said, like she's a very innocent, pure person.
That scene that you just mentioned too, like they show it earlier in the movie where they're talking to like, you know, she's like family, and they show him like waving her over, like, hey, come join us. And then later in the movie, you get to that same scene and you find out that they're talking about illegal immigrants, and he's just pulling her over there just to like kind of make a point, using her as
confirm what
he's so
trying to
like
say,
it kind of takes that like we're all family and kind of turns it on its other side where like, oh, this guy's really just a fucking asshole, and he's just using her as an example, talking about illegal immigrants. That's kind of a funny 1-2 of this scene.
Yeah,
I think that's what they were trying to say with this whole movie is the difference there between, you know, Marta and everybody in the family. You know, Marta's this selfless, hardworking, good-hearted person who, you know, came up from nothing. She just kind of came into this country and had to build everything up from herself. And then everybody in the family is just kind of, like you said, mooching off Harlan and getting everything handed to them, you know, silver spoon in their mouths. And they're just expecting, just because they're Harlan's kids, they're expecting to get the money, all of his money.
Marta's the friend. Like, that was the whole thing. Like, he's like, I was really just his friend. Like, yeah, I was his nurse, but I was like his friend. And we see that. And like, where nobody else had that relationship really with him. It sounded like Ransom did.
And Harlan sees that too. Harlan sees that his kids are fucking greedy bastards, and he doesn't want to give them a cent.
Nearly. Harlan's nurse, she was at the party in a professional capacity.
Marta? I guess. Harlan hired her to be around to take care of whatever medical needs popped up. But really, she's like part of the family. Good kid. Been a good friend to Harlan. Family's from Paraguay. Linda really likes her work ethic. Immigrants. We get the job done. From Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton.
And it's weird because her view of the entire family is kind of, she knows stuff about everybody that not everybody knows about each other because of her time with Harlan, where, you know, she knows about the stealing money. She knows about the husband cheating on Joni. She knows about, you know, all these dirty little secrets that are going on. And she's just kind of quiet and kind of just goes about her business and gives like an honest, she's, you know, Harlan's honest, moral friend that's just kind of giving good advice. So
what's the connection with the game, the Go game? Is it called Go?
Yes.
What's the significance there? Like, what was the whole point of her being good at it and better than Ransom?
Because Ransom thought that he had this special relationship with Harlan in the fact that they shared that Go thing, you know, because like at one point Ransom was the only one that could beat Harlan at Go, but you know, now that, because they make it a point to say like that meant something to him, you know, when they're talking about the Go situation. But I think that just solidifies the fact that of why Harlan decided that he wasn't going to give anything to Ransom. You know, he just didn't mean as much to him as he thought he did. And I think that really pissed Ransom off. And that's kind of puts a dot on the I of why he wanted to kind of ruin Marta and, you know.
That, yeah, kind of gave him, well, we find out later that, you know, that the fight that Ransom and Harlan have at the party, Harlan kind of just tells him, like, yeah, everybody's getting cut out of the will, and I'm giving all my money to Marta.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that he needed. Well,
everybody?
The four of them, technically.
What about Great Nana? Great Nana.
Well, Nana's not getting anything either.
No. In the will, he wrote everything, all his assets go to Marta.
I was like, why did his mom? I like how nobody knows how old she is.
Well, she's like a fucking over 100 years old. She's not gonna do anything with it.
Does she live in the estate? Does she live there? She live in
probably not. I don't think so.
I don't know. They never really. She's kind of like a mystery.
Yeah. And the actress that
there.
played Nana is actually younger than Harlan. Harlan is technically older than the actors that played.
I'm not surprised. Yeah,
got
some good makeup on her.
She was a funny character though. She's just kind of like the quiet observer that is like blind and deaf and kind of knows
watching everything.
On, so
that actress was born in 1936.
Holy shit!
Oh my goodness!
Damn.
I kind of want to learn how to play Go. Apparently, it's one of the oldest board games in the world. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah. Go is considered martial training art and was part of training of warriors in Japan, China, and Korea. So, it's an old one, which kind of just looked like Othello to me. So, I'm not too sure how that works, but. So. I guess, yeah, we've been beating around the plot a little bit. Do you guys have like a favorite part of the movie specifically?
I think probably my favorite part is just when Benoit Blanc is going through everything at the end. Like just that.
It is the most satisfying.
The climax there when he's just explaining everything and revealing everything that Ransom did. And he's just going, there was a similar scene with Tim Curry in Clue that reminded me of that a lot when he's going through everything and this is how you did this and all this stuff and like that was my favorite scene in that movie and that was my favorite scene in this movie as well.
It's the big payoff. You spend the whole movie kind of guessing and thinking to yourself like, well, if this person was here, then how did they do that and blah 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 blah, and that's the big money shot at the end of the movie.
You return, careful to avoid the gate security camera range. Then on foot up towards the house. You sneak in up the trellis so as not to be seen by the rest of the family who are still having their party downstairs. What you need to do will take moments, but it is essential that you are alone and undetected. You knew what medications Harlan took. You knew what Marta would be injecting him with that night. And you knew if Marta was responsible his death, even unintentionally, the Slayer rule would nullify the change will and you would get your share back. You used the syringes in the kit to switch the liquids and the 2 medication vials, and as a final precaution, you took the naloxone, the life-saving antidote.
No, that's impossible.
It is the truth. Hand me that vial of morphine. I'll show you.
If he did that, if the meds...
I am a big fan of the characters meeting Blanc for the first time. I just like them being put on spot and then them being interrogated. I think when people have to lie and he asks the question, they're like, we just talked. You just talk.
You get the flashback of what really happened and then their answer to
So I think the acting of the actors, that's what I'm saying. Like to me, like the best part is just the performances because it has to be, because everybody has to lie in this movie. So everybody's putting their poker face on, and some of them are pretty good at it, and the other ones are horrible at it. But I think that's because they have to. Like they have to act like, hey, you're really bad at covering up that you're telling the truth, and you just acted out that so we don't know that you're lying and stuff like that. But with even Marta, where like she has to hold it as long as she can until she throws up all over.
Spews.
Yeah. Or even like, pukes into a cup and tries to hide it or whatever. But and it's funny, after that scene where they're all getting interviewed, you essentially get Benoit outside kind of smoking a cigar, and he kind of explains to Marta, like, he already knows that everybody's lying to him, like, just based off of that first initial interview. Like, he can tell exactly that people aren't telling the truth, that everybody's lying to him, that they're all kind of covering something up. I do declare that there is a mystery afoot.
Yeah. I also liked the moment when everybody turned on Marta, because that's, how it's called Knives Out. So when Marta gets everything, there's a moment where like the lawyer's reading everything off, it's going to Marta, and then like, all right, well, like something about like the house or something like that from Linda's character.
Yeah, she was like, "This is still our house."
And then she's standing there, but then
the lawyer's like, "Well,"
yeah, and then they look and like, "Well, what is it?"
Out! Right now!
Linda?
No! Richard, we need to talk. We need to fight this thing. We're not going anywhere. I said get out! We are the Thrombeys, goddammit! This is still our house!
Oh, sorry. Likewise, the house at 2 Dearborn Drive and all belongings
And then,
therein,
so
I leave to
Marta
Cabrera.
is also getting in the house. And then she's like, that
little
bitch. And I'm just like, see, you wouldn't, if that was family, you wouldn't have said that. So this is where everybody's revealing the true colors. And she did it real quick. So,
well, everybody jumps to the assumption that like she had to be like banging him or doing something to convince him to have put her, given everything to her, but really she was just a good friend to him. And you guys
right before the will
scene, out of the house.
You see the family talking in like the side room before they read the will, and they're like they're going to fists with each other over like, well, your son's a scumbag. Well, your son's a Nazi right-wing troll, and like, they're all just like digging at each other, just
And right before they read the will, they were like telling Marta, like, "Oh, your family, we're gonna take care of you." Like when they thought they were getting the money, or like, "Oh, we'll take care of you, don't worry." But then they turn on her pretty darn quick.
It's there's a lot of those good scenes in there. I like the one scene where Walt shows up outside of Marta's house. He's got a real creepiness to him, Walt, where he's got like the cane, and you can tell that, I don't know, he's not all together there. He's got a crazy ass kid, and his wife, I don't know, his wife doesn't really have many lines in there. She's just kind of along for the ride, I think. But
he's creepy, but he's not gonna actually do anything.
I don't know. That scene, you could tell that he's intimidating her, and he's trying to kind of get her to renounce the money. But you don't know what's, he's got some real creepiness. Sorry, go ahead.
No, he gives her the idea though, because just like, well, like what I own versus what you own will expose your dilemma over there. She's like, well, hold on a second though, but Harley gave up, like took that away from you and gave it to me, so I'll just use it to.
So they're my lawyers, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying. He's a bit disheveled, because that's a handsome actor. I've seen him in movies and stuff like that, and they make him look like a bookworm, But it's also
I think the cane sells it with his little
sweater too.
It's more of a sad story though, because Harlan talks about his son the night before he dies, where he's saying like, maybe I should have had him go and write his own books instead of being like the caretaker of my stories or something like that. So he's just like this abandoned person where like he set him up to do something with a career with this stuff, but he just got focused on preserving his father's work and not being really good, I guess, at business, but he never really pursued his own stuff,
We also set up Joni. He said he gave her like $1 million to start her own business, essentially. And ends up turning that into her own thing. And then I think the other daughter, was it Joni? not Joni. Sorry, I'm getting all these characters mixed up in my head. Yes, it is Joni, the hippie chick with the daughter. She married into the family, and then the husband died.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how she's.
One of his children actually is passed by the time this starts. Yes, but she still hangs around because she's married to the family and they're loaded. So why wouldn't she? But she's double dipping though. Yeah, that's the problem. Like,
seems like one of those real fake social media people, and fake hippie guru kind of people, but
yeah,
essentially just burning through money. But
that's a great actress.
Yeah, for sure. The one scene where she's like dancing and trying to like pull she's trying to pull Linda
my
up.
God,
She's just like pulling her arm back. They don't want anything
to do with her.
Like like they can't stand her.
She tries like twice to like come dance with me. She's like, no, not interested at all.
Nah.
Like there's just no relationship.
You remained close to the Thrombys.
Oh, they're my family. I feel simultaneously freed by and supported by them. It's that balance of opposites that's the nugget of flam.
Sorry, the nugget of...
Flam.
Oh, yeah, flam. Yours.
Jamie Lee Curtis is like her cold, like business bitch face facade that she's got going on in this whole movie is top notch. It's fantastic.
They all got a serving of tough love, but it's some form of love. Like he must. I mean, they are his children. I think he just. It's like this is the only way they're gonna become the people they're supposed to be, and it's from me not giving them the silver spoon anymore. I have to take everything away from them for them to be better people, because right now you're not good. You're taking advantage of me, and they're bringing, like when you look at Marta, brings things in perspective, and he's like, this is a really
she doesn't
good
ask
person.
for anything.
This is a person who
she
deserves this money.
Does her job and is just a good friend to Harlan.
Which is what saves her from being convicted of being the murderer, or even if it was accidental, all that stuff, because she was such a good person that she knew by
she was good at her
weights.
She was good at her job. Yeah,
she
knew
like
what
holding
she was
them without even look.
Even though the labels were swapped.
Yep, which I thought was a really cool idea. Like I thought I didn't see that coming, and I think that's executed very well. That part right there, because like that is a good way to show that somebody is a good person. That because like I watched that scene the second time we watched this, like that scene in the beginning of the movie, how she is getting out the medicine and she's not looking at anything. She just knows where everything is. She just knows,
yeah.
Yeah, and it's done really well. So it pays off that when you think she accidentally killed Harlan, and Blanca's like, no, you actually didn't. He killed himself. He was never going to die. You didn't even look at the labels. Even though this guy tried to have that happen, you didn't even do it, because you don't have to look at it because you're with him all the time, taking care of this guy and hanging out with him. So you've done it so many times, and nobody else did. Well, I mean, you're his nurse, but still, that you just knew without looking. And I thought that was a really nice touch, because I was like, yeah, that is a good person. Like that is. Like that's evidence that he needed. And that's all he needed was the evidence. Obviously, the blood on her shoe, you know,
which is a good spot. Like it's literally just a drop of blood, which it's a great spot. But we've talked a lot about like a lot of the side dressing in this movie. Like everybody, the shitty kids technically, but they essentially, when you boil it down, like they don't have anything to do. They're just I don't know. They're kind of almost distractions as to what the real murder mystery is and who the real villain is in this movie.
Yeah, everything kind of comes together.
Chris Evans
in the third
as
act.
Ransom, which he is Linda and Richard's kid.
At you again,
Hugh, as he makes the help call him.
Dude, I thought that was another cool thing.
Yeah.
Like so you have another character we haven't really talked about, but there's a caretaker, our housekeeper, Fran. Yeah.
She plays, you don't see her, but she does play like two important roles in the plot.
Yes. And one of them leads to her kind of knowing about Ransom's shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
And when she goes to expose him, he kills her. Well, he tries to kill her by giving her an overdose of morphine.
He does.
So it does eventually kill her, but yeah. But as she's slowly dying, Marta does like escape from Blunt for a little bit, and who's singing in the car, which I thought was funny.
That was a good scene.
She finds Fran, and Fran is like dying there, and she says, she's like trying to talk to her before she dies, and she says, "You did this," you know, and I'm like,
or so you think.
And I forgot, and I'm actually, so the second, actually, this is actually pretty cool. So I was like watching, I'm like, why does she think that Marta did it? I couldn't remember why, but then I forget that Ransom's real name is Hugh. And she was saying,
and he's such an asshole that he forces the help to call him Hugh instead of Ransom.
Right. So like that's right. She calls him Hugh. She should have just called him Ransom so that Martin knew, but she went with Hugh. But I think it's
because that's what she was the help, so that's what she had to call him. So
yeah,
but,
yeah.
And they only dropped that as like a one-liner, like early in the episode, where there are a couple of those spots where they just drop a hint early in the movie, and then it comes back around later in the movie, like Harlan mentioning before he dies about how, I forget why he was saying it, but he grabs the knife and he mentions like, you know, fucking kids can't even tell the difference between like a prop knife and a real knife or something like that. And that ends up coming up later, and you know, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those callbacks that seem like throwaway lines earlier in the movie, but they play a significant role later in the movie, which is really interesting because, you know, on second, I know this is my second time watching this too. I didn't remember a lot of those little things, but when Benoit's putting it all together at the end, it all, you know, it makes a bigger impact, I guess, there. But really, yeah, Ransom and his plot to frame Marta, he basically knows that everybody's getting cut out of the will, that he's getting cut out of the will, out of however many. Is it millions or billions? Is it 60 million? I think
it's a lot of millions, I think.
Yeah, a lot. You can tell.
He knows he's getting cut out.
Very successful.
He comes up with the plot to frame, essentially have Marta framed for the murder. I don't know how he would know about the skeleton. What do they call it? The skeleton clause, or I forget what it is.
I forget what it is as well. But yeah, basically the clause in the will to say like, if you kill the will holder or writer, then you can't claim it.
I love that they're calling it like, you're Googling these things. Like, you don't know what these are.
Yeah, calling it out. Like, Joni's like, I just Google this, and
yeah, I thought that was funny. There's some things that they do in this movie that's like very believable. Like, yeah, that's what you would do. So I like moments like that. I thought it was fun.
It was interesting though with Ransom's whole arc, because his original plan obviously was to switch the labels, and then that's how Harlan died. But obviously that plan didn't really work out for him, so he had to come up with his second plan of pretending to help Marta and then trying to frame her for Fran's murder.
This is cool.
And again,
and he's an author and he does murder mysteries, right? That's his thing. So when this happened, I love that he, like, when she's like, oh shit, like, Harlan, I fucked up your medicine. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, you could die in 10 minutes, so I need to find like the cure, basically. And he's like, all right, well, you know, we've been talking for like 2 minutes, and it's going to take another minute till, you know, the way he's like talking about it, and he actually does pull out his pen and pencil, paper, and then he starts like writing something.
Yeah, he's like, this is an idea for a story.
And I thought it was kind of, I don't know, interesting that was happening within the movie. So I thought this is a really nice touch. That's pretty cool. But when she can't find the cure, when she starts freaking out, and she's like, you're going to die. Let me call the ambulance. He's like, nope. He's like, I've got an idea. And he's like, I'm going to die. I've already closed a big chapter in my life with my kids. They just got to go become what they are, and it has nothing to do with me. I can't give them the silver spoon anymore. So I'm going to protect you, because he already knows in his will that he's given it to her anyways. So this is how he's going to protect the only person he really cares about at this point. And it instantly comes up with this elaborate plan, which was it was pretty fun to see it played out too. Like that was That was pretty
because
fun,
he
but
is
that's cool that his mind works that way.
He's a murder mystery novelist, so he kind of knows,
Yeah.
like he knows the wheels to turn and how to make
It's
sure
like
that
his
you're
greatest send-off.
Yeah,
is
right,
this
exactly.
He says
thing
something
that came
about
up.
going out with a bang or something like that
Let's
too.
not call
I
it
forget
that right now,
what the
okay?
exact words are.
3 milligrams.
Oh, that's much less. So what happens?
I'm gonna give you an emergency shot of naloxone so you don't die in 10 minutes.
Oh, well, no pressure. You know, this is an interesting and efficient method of murder. I need to write this down. So, if someone switched the meds on purpose, I'd be dead in 10 minutes. Like stone cold dead?
Yes, your full symptoms in 5: sweats, disorientation, and then yes, that big dose injected.
Yeah,
within
the twist of
your brain and
the medicine switching by Ransom, and then Fran seeing it, and then him going back during the funeral to switch it back, essentially. And that kind of that whole play out where Ransom goes to meet Fran and then ends up overdosing her, and then forwarding the letter that Fran gave to him to Marta. Essentially, that's where it gets kind of confusing for me. Is like. There's a lot of wires being crossed, and he's using Fran's work against him against Marta. He's kind of like moving it down the chain where Fran knows it's him, but he knows that it's Marta, so he's just trying to push it further down the line and use that to his own benefit, which
it's a bit confusing, especially the first time and even the second time. But it basically comes up to him being an opportunist.
Yeah,
he's just really quick, and he's taken after Harlan. Like he is even though he doesn't have a real job, you can tell he's not a dummy, and he's just doing it for evil instead of good.
Like a con artist almost. I'm sure he's scamming multiple people all the time. One of my favorite scenes with him was the when they escape after the will reading and they're in the restaurant and he's giving her some food. You look like you haven't eaten all day, and he's being nice. He's being weirdly nice to Marta.
Too nice.
He's saying, 3 things. One, I know I know that Harlan didn't commit suicide. 2, I know you can't lie. And 3, I know you just ate a big plate of beans and bacon or whatever like that. And he ordered. You can see him in the beginning of the scene order an extra bowl to go with the meal or whatever, which is kind of a weird thing to do. But then as he slides the bowl in front of her, she's got to kind of spill her guts. Literatively and not figuratively, technically. Cool. I don't know. There's so much to unpack here. Like, I guess kind of once you see the movie, you kind of know the ins and outs. I guess us rehashing a lot of the stuff isn't going to really pay off for anybody. But is there anything other cool anything other cool scenes in the movie, or like small things that you guys noticed, favorite parts? Like the soundtrack for this movie was really good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the visuals, like Brandon said, the cinematography and everything shot really, really well. But I like the final scene where Marta is up on the little balcony and she's, looking down on the entire family because she doesn't renounce the will. She keeps it. So it's her house, and that coffee cup that she had that was shown in the first scene.
Very first scene. It's another one of those callbacks.
But it was the coffee cup that said, "My house, my rules, my coffee." And she was drinking out of that cup. And that was just like the stamp at the end of the movie. Like, this shit's mine now, and I'm going to do what I want with it.
It was a great little tie-in because that's like one of the first things you see in the movie. Like, you see the house and you see breakfast getting made. And that's like the first... I don't know. It's one of Harlan's eccentric things is that mug or whatever, and that's one of the last things you see in the movie also, which is a nice little double entendre where they bring it back and reuse it.
It's one of those movies where if you like these kind of movies where the first half hour they're just throwing shit at you, and you don't know the significance of like that object or that scene or whatever. But if you do notice it, it will be paid off. There's no wasted scene in this movie. And a lot of movies do this. You know, they'll show you something or have a line or something like that, only to be paid off later. This movie is full of it, and you can tell that Rian Johnson had the idea, had complete creative control from beginning to end. So I think that's why a lot of people like this movie, is just because it's a tight package with a bow on it. It's honestly, if you look at whodunit, it's a great example. There's no bad acting in there. There's no dumb scene. It's a drama, but it's quick, it's witty, it's fun.
Yeah, there's some funny moments in there too. Like there's some comedy thrown in there, which makes it even better.
So I think that's why people like this. So it's a great film. I personally just,
it was too fresh for you, I think, because
it might have been too fresh. But even the first time I saw it, and I'm like, it's good, but I don't know.
I thought it wouldn't be as impactful. Like I thought it was one of those movies like once you've seen it, you've seen it. You don't need to watch it again. But I think it helped that I did forget a lot of things that happened because I was able to come into it a little bit more fresh. Like I knew the main beats, but there was some little details that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that's how that happened.
Kind of, catch those little things. So, cool. Yeah, I think we kind of got a good beat in here. There's not really a terrible amount that we can spoil or say about it. So
no, but there's a new movie coming out.
Yeah,
and I know it has another big cast in it. I think that's what's fun about these movies. And I hope it's a franchise where he's just going to meet these, like put him on a Carnival cruise or something like that, and he's just surrounded by a bunch of big actors, and let's just have fun with these whodunits.
Netflix is actually signed on for 2 sequels.
2.
So there's The Glass Onion, which comes out on Netflix on December 23rd, 2022. And then there's like another one, an unannounced one. So they've already signed on for 2 more movies.
Okay.
So we've got some bangers just to kind of call out some of that, because I've seen the trailer, and the trailer it makes the movie look
who's in
just as good. Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. You have Edward Norton. You have Kate Hudson. You have Dave Bautista. Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom, Jessica Henwick. I believe I saw Hugh Grant, Ethan Hawke.
Sweet.
You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You got Serena Williams. I thought I saw no, it wasn't Matthew Perry. It was Ed Norton. Ed Norton's looking a little tighter these days. I love any movie with Ed Norton, and it's fucking great. So,
Birdman, dude. He's fantastic in Birdman.
Come check our schedule out in December when we review Birdman. So nice. All right. Well, let's put a little bow on this and wrap this Act 2 up.
I believe this is case closed.
I do declare it is a donut hole.
I declare indubitably do so, sir.
It's a donut.
Inside of a donut is a donut, and this episode is the donut hole.
Dude, what's with fucking donuts, man? That was also a big deal in oh no, that was a bagel. And,
that was a bagel.
Everything everywhere. Put everything in a bagel.
That is true.
Same concept, empty in the middle.
Yep.
All right. Enough chitter chatter. Let's wrap this up. When we come back in Act 3, we're going to play a little guessing game and see if you guys can figure out the riddle at the center of this donut right after this. Hello, Nomads. We are back for Act 3 for a return game called Riddle Me This, where we will go through. We'll do best of 7. I'll ask 7 questions. We'll go back and forth. I may even give you guys a chance to steal, just so we can get this one over with quickly. First to 3 will win, and then we will call it an evening. I am thinking of a number between 1 and 100 this time. Yeah, I'm switching it up. I'm going crazy. Eric, you are first. You're choking on your water. What number did I guess?
69.
Brandon?
A 68.
Come on.
Hey, dude.
Oh,
Last time
he cut you off. I chose 67.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Damn.
I think we've been hanging out for too long because I think we know each other almost too well. All right. I have a dice randomizer over here. I'm going to roll you a die, Brandon.
Oh, thank you.
We are going to choose your question. Insert fake dice roll here. You rolled a 44. All right. Are you ready?
Sure.
Put your thinking cap on, because riddle me this.
Oh, wait.
You do not.
Are there steals in this game?
We'll do steals, sure.
All right.
Just so we can make sure we got it. So don't go throwing out answers or anything like that.
What's the point of us taking turns then if we can just first one to guess it?
Well, you get the first chance.
Oh,
So,
I got you. Okay.
Thinking caps. All right. Question number 44. You do not want to have it, but when you do have it, you do not want to lose it. What is it? And these are brought to you by Parade.com, a known house mother magazine.
Housewife
magazine that probably aren't the greatest riddles, but we'll see.
Oh, wonderful.
You do not want to have it, but when you do have it, you do not want to lose it. What is it?
Do not want to have it.
Huh, that's a good one.
And these aren't like old riddles. Don't think of like, it is a mountaintop or something, some weird shit that they'd say in Lord of the Rings. These are like actual, riddles. You don't want to have it, but when you do have it, you don't want to lose it.
I don't know. I have no idea. A cold.
Right.
I don't know. It's horrible.
You want to lose a cold.
Yeah, I don't know. I said that.
Eric, to steal?
You don't want to have it, but when you have it, you don't want to lose it. You don't want to have it. I don't fucking know.
He doesn't have it.
Ice cream. I don't know.
Ice cream. No. The answer is a lawsuit.
Oh,
you don't want to have a
you
lawsuit.
don't want to lose
but when you
it.
do have
Okay.
it, you don't want to lose it.
Okay, I see.
Which is it's a toughie. That one's kind of, you got to be thinking
was
to
not
pull that
thinking
one.
that,
Pull that one
yeah.
out of midair. All
Wasn't
right,
thinking
Eric,
outside the box.
rolling a dice for you, and you got a 54. Okay. We'll see how this goes.
Oh, God.
A sundial has the fewest moving parts of any timepiece. Which has the most?
What?
A sundial has the fewest moving parts of any timepiece. Which has the most?
Timepiece. I feel like timepiece is the key word here.
No.
Which
sundial
has
is
the
just like a
most?
circle with a triangle on it.
I know what a
That's
sundial is.
Yeah. That's a timepiece.
Want to buy a sundial?
What timepiece has the most?
This is going to be something stupid, I know it. They all are something stupid.
I wouldn't say it's something stupid. I'm just saying you have to think. What would Benoit Blanc say about this one?
You just have to think.
A sundial, I do declare, has the fewest moving parts of any timepiece. Which has the most?
I don't fucking know. Of
Well, think of all the timepieces.
well, it's not
Go
going to
from
be
there.
that easy. A watch, like that's not going to be a watch. You know,
Hey, choose your own destiny.
it's going to be like history, the history
What
of the
Harlem?
world or something. I
These
don't
are
know.
brain teasers too. They aren't brain teasers like you're solving a murder mystery. That's kind of why I went with this theme again.
I'll just say a watch then. I don't know.
A
Just
watch is incorrect. Brandon,
Okay.
do you have a guess?
Oh man. Say it one more time, please.
A sundial has the fewest moving parts of any timepiece. Which has the most?
The universe.
That is incorrect. Although I do see that riddly.
Well, that's why I was saying like
Where your head
it's
was
going to be
going.
something like the history of time or something.
The correct answer is an hourglass.
Oh, fuck off.
Thousands of grains of sand.
That's good. That's good.
Kapuya. All right, that's 2 down and no answers as of yet. Brandon, let's roll you a dice. You got the number 100. Huh? That doesn't seem very
Sure.
random.
What the fuck do these numbers mean to me? They're just They're just questions.
Well,
I say when somebody gets
there's-
1, we end the game.
it's completely random. I have 100 riddles or brain teasers in front of me, so I'm randomizing what
Bring it on.
questions you are getting it. All right, number 100. If you drop me, I'm sure to crack. But give me a smile and I'll always smile back. What am I? I like it because it rhymes. That's a good riddle / brain teaser.
If you drop me, I will crack.
If you drop me, I'm sure to crack. But give me a smile and I'll always smile back.
A mirror.
I'll say. That is correct.
I knew it. I was getting
Brandon.
ready to steal because
Boom.
that one I actually knew.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Oh, you know that one, Eric? Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
I was getting ready.
I was
to
thinking
steal.
like an egg, but I'm like, what's the smile part?
There you go. See? This isn't quite a silly game. All right, 3 questions down. We got Brandon in the lead with number 1. Eric, you rolled a 19.
Ooh, not 19.
Boy, not 19.
What can be swallowed but can also swallow you?
Swallow me.
What can be swallowed
Maybe,
but can also swallow you?
I mean, you could swallow a lot of things. I'm thinking like water, 'cause, like you could drown, like swallow you up. Quicksand, maybe.
I try not to swallow quicksand.
Well, you
personally.
can. Like I said, you can swallow a lot of things if you try hard enough.
This isn't the swamp of fire.
Swallow. I guess I'm just gonna go with water.
Well, that, my dear friend, is incorrect. Brandon, what can be swallowed but can also swallow you?
Oh, never mind. I think I went about this the wrong way.
Air.
Air? That
Wait,
is
can I have
incorrect.
another guess?
For funsies, sure, you can have a guess. It's not going to count. But
It's probably it's some like animal, right? Because you can eat an animal, but then an animal could also eat you.
no.
Like a
that's
whale.
not
What?
You can swallow your pride, but your pride can also swallow you.
Oh, that's stupid.
Oh, that's a tough
Would have
one,
never got
yeah, I
that.
don't think I got that. It's very.
It's
I was
more
thinking
of a play on the swallow your pride thing.
I was thinking it was like a fucking tiger. Like I could eat a tiger if I wanted to, but it could also
Like
eat
in a
me.
smoothie.
What?
You could. How is he gonna swallow? You have to like grind it up, right? It's
No,
so
I'm thinking
small.
like you
Or
just
so big.
you cook it and you just eat it like a steak. You swallow it.
Oh, just swallowing like bites. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's wrong with me? It's blending up a tiger to eat.
All right. Brandon, back to you. Number 95. You got the high numbers
If
here.
Brandon gets this one, can we end it?
What kind of band doesn't play music?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
God.
When?
What kind of band doesn't play music?
I don't know. A fucking rubber band?
That is correct.
Are you serious? That is
a
dumb,
rubber band.
Giving Brandon the softballs.
Boom. Well, it was number 95. That's why I make them random, so I can't give easy
I feel like
ones.
the higher numbers are easier because they're like, oh, let's get the good ones at the beginning, and then by 100, they're like, oh, fucking, I don't know, a mirror.
Okay.
All right, go to like number 98 and let Eric.
90, well, number 96 is a good one,
yeah,
too.
whatever,
Yeah.
sure.
Eric, to catch up and get on the board, what building has the most stories?
That's easy.
See, Brandon's throwing his hands in the air. He's going to steal this right from up
A
front.
library.
Yeah.
There you go. All
See?
right.
See what I mean? Proves my theory.
We're going to go Brandon.
Oh, we're still going?
You got one more. One more point to win. That was number 5.
All right, Brandon, I'll help you on this one.
They fill me up and you empty me almost every day. If you raise my hand, I work the opposite way. What am I? They fill me up and you empty me almost every day. If you raise my arm, I work the opposite way.
They fill me up. Who's they?
I want to say a toilet, like a toilet. Say that again.
They fill me up and you empty me almost every day. If you raise my arm, I work the opposite way.
It's the mailbox.
That is correct. Congratulations, Brandon.
Wow.
You are
riddle,
the
riddle master over here.
You are the riddle master. That was good. I didn't think you'd get that one.
I didn't either, but
Thank God that's over.
You get that toilet. You laughed at my toilet answer. I'm like, maybe I got to rethink this.
Well, I don't think they're making poop toilet jokes about filling it up with shit. So
I would.
That's a little.
Those would be my riddles.
Oh, good. Oh, nice. I like to switch it up. I don't like to play the same old games when I get to host. So I like to try and come provocative a little bit, like the Wu-Tang Clan.
What?
So. No, sorry. Go ahead.
What are we doing next week? Is it Northman?
Mm-hmm.
Next week is the Northman.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the Eggers movie, right?
Sure is.
Oh man.
Yes,
man.
it's a bunch of Vikings running around doing Viking stuff, I think.
Willem Dafoe getting crazy again.
Oh, I can't wait.
Is he in this one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He got some part in it. Skarsgård's in there.
Oh fuck. An epic historical action thriller. So let's get going on that. So if anyone would like to play along, you can jump on and watch The Northman with us this week. I will tell you this. The Northman is available to stream on Prime. It's available for rent on Amazon, Apple TV, all those fun places. So check it out. We'd love to have you with us. Eric, if they want to get a hold of us, why don't you hit us with the socials one last time?
Sure. If you want to follow us on social media, at Nomads of Fantasy on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to join our Discord, you can go to the nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. If you want to email us with any thoughts, questions, comments, all that good stuff, nomadsofantasy@gmail.com. If you want to, visit our website, thenomadsoffantasy.com, you can also do that. For all
Go
your
guess the
Nomad
video
needs.
game map at whatmapgame.com.
Whatmapgame.com. If you like video games and you like maps, this is the game for you. That's all I got.
All right. Let's get out of here.
All right. Thank you for listening. If you've listened this far, leave us a rating, review, all that good stuff. We love you. And as always, safe travels, Nomads.
passion drug you're on. Because if you think that after all the bridges you burned, after all the shit you said, after everything that you put this family through for the last 10 years, that any of us are gonna support you, that any of us are gonna give you, like Dad liked to say, a single red dime, you're nuts!
Son.
Father.
Did Harlan tell you he was going to cut you out of the will?
Yep.
Well, then he's done what none of us were strong enough to do. Maybe this might finally make you grow up.
This might be the best thing that could ever happen to you.
Thank you. My mother, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, this is not going to be easy for you, but it'll be good. Nothing good is ever easy.
Up your ass, Joni. You've had your teeth in this family's tit for a long time.
Up your ass? Oh, very nice.
Matter of fact, eat shit. How's that? In fact,
Do not use that word in front of my son.
eat shit.
If I
Eat
wasn't
shit.
practicing,
Eat shit.
I would slap that smug smile.
Definitely eat shit. Eat shit. You can all eat shit.